Mark, 30 seconds until airtime. Once again, stations, if you encounter technical issues during the broadcast, please call the Oregon Studio hotline at 336-831-0864. Stations, your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Duck's gonna pick it up, and here we go. Got him deep. He's open. He's got it. And he's gone. How about that? Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
Duarte pulls up, 3-ball. Bang!
LJ Figueroa!
Oregon goes back to back for the fourth time in the last 6 years. The Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
Foley three. Goal! Foley ball. Three is good. Diarra-Savali. Wing. Pow. Yeah, boom, boom.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
What a weekend.
We're just getting started.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Hello, I am not Joey Mack. I am Terry Jonz in for Joey Mack, who's zooming in shortly from Berkeley, California. That's where he is. I'm just here so I don't get fined. So we're going to have some fun here today. We got a full show. We're going to talk some baseball. Kelly Graves as well. Got a chance to talk with him a couple days ago, and we spent a long time. We talked it all out. So everything you want to know that's been going on with women's basketball, it's coming up from Kelly Graves. You'll be able to hear that. That's straight ahead here. Because we got a full show, so we need to keep rolling. By the way, baseball last night. What a night. 3 homers. Scored in 7 of the 9 innings. Got a solid effort from the bullpen. 11-5 win at California on Thursday night. A couple more to go. And Coach Woz had some comments about it after the game.
First game of the series, usually Friday night. Today's Thursday, obviously, but Thursday night win. Friday night type of a ball game, Pac-12. Really good job by the back-end bullpen guys. Alstrom gave us a very good start. We sustained an offensive approach the entire ball game to where, it was constant scoring and it was constant pressure, which was really good to see. And then for me, the story of the game was the back-end bullpen guys, especially Andrew Mosiello. Isaac Aon did a nice job, but Andrew Mosiello came in and really did a fantastic job for the Ducks tonight. Nice to win the opening game of a series. Looking forward to getting a series tomorrow. Go Ducks.
And that win moves the Ducks to within a game of league-leading Arizona. They're not playing this weekend, at least the conference play, as they wrapped up their league schedule in the Pac-12 conference. Ducks in this weekend. They need a sweep. Need to get one tonight, one tomorrow, and it's a co-championship for the Ducks. How about that? And the guy that would be telling you all about it has zoomed in from Berkeley, as we talked about. It's Joey Mack. Joey, how are you?
Hi, Terry. I'm great. First of all, I'm excited to hear from Coach Graves because it's going to be a good offseason check-in. But second of all, yeah, it was a fun game last night. And, to be honest, my immediate reaction, and anybody who listened to the broadcast heard me talking about this, that it's awesome that this program is at this point, because in the first few innings, I was like, yeah, the Ducks are leading by 5, but felt like it could have been more than that. And I was talking about how great teams have that killer instinct and they really keep the pressure on. Well, it got to a point last night where it was 6-4. Oregon was leading, and I was like, no lead is safe in this ballpark. We've seen a few fly balls that ended up being home runs here. So I kind of was thinking, like, man, would have been nice if the Ducks had gotten some extra insurance. And then what do you know? They do it. They score 4 runs in the last 3 innings, and they scored in 7 of the 9 frames. And they went 11-5, and it felt like it could have been more than that. And I just think that's a testament to where this program is at right now. And it's a great problem to have if it is a problem, right? That the broadcaster and maybe the coaches are thinking, oh, it could have been more. And the Ducks still won against a guy who's probably a first-round pick for Cal starter and Josh White, who I don't think really had his best stuff last night. Man, though, that says something about where Oregon's at. So, yeah, 2 games left. 2 games left in Berkeley. And if Oregon wins both of them, Ducks will be Pac-12 co-champions, which would be the first time since 1954 the Ducks won a Pac-12 championship in baseball.
Wow. That's a while ago, Joey. That's a while ago.
Well, you got to remember, though, the hiatus for the program, right?
Yes, of course.
You know, there was about a 30, 40-year period there, and I should know that off the top of my head, actually, how long it was. But, yeah, I mean, there was a period there where obviously there was no baseball. But, I mean, you look, though, at how many records are being set this year. A single-season record in doubles, a single-season record in runs. Aaron Zavala is one walk shy of tying the single-season record in walks as well. You know, I look at that, and it's like, well, it's no surprise that Oregon's having some success right now. And I think they've got the Pac-12 pitcher of the year in Robert Alstrom after his performance last night. I think he beat a guy that was in the running with him. He's now got the lowest ERA amongst starters in the conference. Robert Alstrom does. I think that he's the Pac-12 pitcher of the year. And I think Mark Wasikowski is probably the coach of the year, in my opinion. The Ducks were picked 7th in the preseason poll. They're going to finish at least 2nd. Arizona, I think Jay Johnson's probably the other guy in the running. They were picked 2nd, and they're going to finish at least in a tie for 1st. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the coach of the year is probably Mark Wasikowski, but I haven't said that to his face yet because he'd look at me and say, I don't want you to talk about that, and I don't care about that. But, you know, as the broadcaster, I can sit here and talk about that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Robert Alstrom, or is it Robbie Alstrom? I know I see on Twitter Mosley and Todd Biles, they go back and forth about this. So what is it? I mean, he's a North Eugene kid, whatever. He's a local kid that's doing good.
Okay, so I asked him. Actually, I got back to the hotel right before the team did yesterday, and in the lobby, and I've asked Robbie this before. You know where I'm going with this. I said, so are we still on Robbie wavelength? I mean, I've only seen you in person like twice, you know, since 2019. And I was like, are we still on the Robbie wavelength? And he just looked at me. He's like, oh yeah, no, we're there. We're good. So I now have permission for sure to continue to say Robbie, but he wanted to be Robert. You know, similarly, Anthony Hall, no one calls him Anthony except me. It's Tony Hall, right? Everybody calls him Tony. And well, it's working out though for the Ducks. Either way, whatever name we're using on the official roster, not their nickname or whatever, you know, it's been working for the Ducks. So I can confirm that the broadcaster here, I'm on a first name basis of a nickname basis with Robbie Alstrom.
Robbie. Okay, when you go to Tony, then we're okay. Then
yes,
we know
exactly.
Then we know you're really in. There you go. Hey, this team, it's just a blue-collar team, isn't it? I know Coach Waz has talked about, you know, maybe not the most talented team, but they get it done. They do everything right. They're fundamentally sound. They field the ball. They have good pitching. They hit the ball. I mean, 289 batting average as a team? That's not bad.
Yeah, and that's, I think, been the difference is the lineup at the middle and at the top has been really good. Tanner Smith's leading the conference in doubles, new Oregon record in a single season for doubles. It belongs to Tanner Smith, and it's still counting. He's not done yet. You know, and then you go to Kenyon Yovan, who's only top 5 in the conference in home runs, hitting 2nd. Aaron Zavala might be the best hitter in the conference. Right now, he's leading in terms of batting average in the conference on base percentage and base on balls. Dude just gets on base. And then Gabe Matthews is the Oregon career leader in hits, RBIs, doubles. He's top 10 basically every offensive category that matters. That's your cleanup hitter. Josh Kasevich, don't look now, is now top 20 in batting average in the Pac-12, and he's hitting over 320 after a 3-hit, 3 RBI performance yesterday. And that came actually after Josh Kasevich grounded into a double play with the bases loaded in the first inning. And it was like, that was one of those moments like, the Ducks could have gotten more. Well, then Josh Kasevich from then on out got on base every single bat he had after that. So, you know, and then your 6th guy is Anthony Hall, who has had weekends where he's had 5 doubles. He's had weekends where he's had an OPS of over 1,300. And, you know, that's not bad if you're Anthony Hall. I think the difference for Oregon this year hasn't just been, though, that top of the order. They've had different guys in the bottom third of the order get hot at different times. And Jack Scanlon in the 8-hole, he hit a home run last night that, I mean, that wasn't just a home run in a hitter's ballpark. Well, hitter's ballpark down the lines at Evans Diamond. It's a little dead to center, as Mark Wasikowski actually will talk about on the Toyota Coaches Corner coming up tonight with the 545 pregame show. You know, one of the things that he said, though, is that Jack Scanlon's home run that he hit to right would have hit the roof of the player development area at PK Park. I mean, that's how crushed that ball was. So all in all, you know, maybe that's the guy who's going to get hot down the stretch. There was a period where Sam Nowitzki was hitting over 400 in a 20-game stretch. He moved his average up from 179 to as high as 263. Now he's been consistently hitting about 250 ever since then. So, and then actually there was a 2-week period where Gavin Grant was the team leader in OPS, and he's the number 9 hitter for the Ducks. So I think that bottom third of the order has really what's led to the success, because to bring it full circle back to Tanner Smith, he's one of the team leaders in RBIs, and he's the leadoff guy. You know, that's because the bottom of the order is getting on in front of him. So down the stretch, that's going to be a real key, I think. I think that's the X factor for how far Oregon can go, not just this weekend, but in the postseason, is if that bottom third of the order does another one of those guys get hot down the stretch.
Yeah, you mentioned the postseason. I want to get to that here before we run out of time with you. But what does it look like at this point? Where do you think?
I think Oregon's a bona fide host. I think especially after winning last night, I think the Ducks are a regional host. I think it's an outside chance that Oregon's a super regional host. Nothing would surprise me, but the way that the results have gone around the upper echelon of college baseball and the highest ranked teams, I think Oregon's probably not a top 8 seed right now. If they sweep and they're a conference co-champion, I think that could change it depending on what happens with teams that are maybe slated to be like 6, 7, and 8. Because if you're a national seed, if you're a top 8 seed, then you would, if you win your regional, host a super regional. That's what the Ducks are kind of going for. But if everything goes chalk and you're, say, the number 11 seed, well, then you're traveling for super regionals is the way it works in the baseball postseason and softball postseason. So all in all, I think that Oregon is definitely a regional host. They're already one of the 20 potential sites. There's been some movement around the college baseball landscape that tells me that they're for sure going to be a regional host. The question is if they can get a top 8. I don't know about that. I think that it could happen if the Ducks sweep. If they at least win the series, they might be in the conversation, but it depends on what the committee decides. I think Oregon, though, is definitely a regional host, and it'd be the first time in a long time, about 7 years, that Oregon's been a regional host. And I can only imagine what the energy is going to be like. Even with a limited capacity, we'll see what it looks like here next week, but I'm looking forward to it. I think they've got a real legit chance to make a run in the postseason because this pitching staff gives Oregon a chance to win every single night.
Yeah. All right, before we let you go, the matchup coming up tonight, game 2 of the series.
Yeah, Colin Kafka, I think he's the key for the Ducks. He hasn't pitched as well lately. He particularly has not gone as deep into games lately. He's a ground ball, sinker ball pitcher. This is a ballpark that down the lines, you give up a lot of home runs and it's kind of dead to center field, but it's a beautiful infield. Natural grass, really natural hops for natural grass. So I think it really bodes well for Colin Kafka's style. I think he's the real key. If he can go deep for the Ducks and if Oregon's offense can keep things rolling like they did last night, I like Oregon's chances. I think this is going to be a fun game tonight, but Oregon definitely set the tone, scoring 11 runs last night. They got to keep the offensive momentum going.
Did Coach Wasikowski, did he expect this coming into the year?
I think that Coach Wasikowski would tell you that the big unanswered question was outfield defense and starting pitching. The Ducks have 2 of the top 5 guys in the conference in terms of starters in ERA. So I think the pitching has checked the box. Like I said, I think Robbie Ahlstrom is the Pac-12 pitcher of the year. So I think the starting pitching's checked the box. The outfield defense, Anthony Hall has really come a long way. Tanner Smith's come a long way. Aaron Zavala has come a long way. So I think that if I told Coach Wasikowski those 2 categories are going to be fine, you're going to have 2 guys in the top 5 in ERA in your starting rotation. You're going to have guys that are making dive-in plays in the outfield and not making a lot of mistakes in the outfield. I think he'd probably say, yeah, we could be pretty good. I think that they've answered the 2 kind of unknowns that Coach Was had heading into the season.
Yeah, I agree with you. You and I were talking off the air earlier. I was like, Coach of the Year. I mean, look what he's doing. My goodness.
So.
Wow, pretty remarkable. Well, Joey,
we'll find out next week.
Yeah, 5:45 tonight, pregame show, 6:05 first pitch from, what is it, Evans Diamond? They're right behind Haas Center, by the way, if you've never, Haas Pavilion, rather, the basketball arena. All the basketball teams, we come up there the back way, and there's the baseball diamond right there in the back of Haas Pavilion. All right, Joey, hey, have a good call, and we'll talk to you soon. Be safe, and see you back in Eugene.
Thank you, sir. Looking forward to hearing from Coach Graves. Going to be fun.
All right, thank you. He's Joey Mack. This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union from the Country Financial Studio, and we do have KG. Coming up next, Kelly Graves, long conversation. In fact, we'll just give him the rest of the show. Why not? He can do it. That's next after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Hi, welcome to the Spicy Drive-In. May I take your order?
Can I get the spicy chicken sandwich, please?
The spicy chicken is an excellent choice, sir. And to drink?
Whatever's fine.
Oh, may I make a beverage pairing recommendation this evening?
Sure.
If we are feeling especially bold tonight, sir, I would recommend the Mountain Dew with that. It's bravely unrestrained with a very alive aroma that pairs wonderfully with your spicy chicken. It's followed by a hint of zesty citrus flavor.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
I'm sure you already know this, sir, but remember to appreciate the nose first by giving the Mountain Dew a little swirl to relieve volatilize it.
What?
To change the flavor compounds and activate your taste buds to get them fully primed for that chicken sandwich.
It's delicious.
Now you're getting the hang of it. The muscular flavor charge characteristics of Mountain Dew make for an absolutely epic mouthfeel when paired with spicy cuisine. It is quite on point, sir.
Dude, it's a perfect match. Like they were made for each other.
So true, so true.
When you want to make good food bolder and bold food better, do the do.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield IMG College.
They say that car crashes happen in slow motion. The reality is that crashes happen fast. There's no time to think and no time to check if your child is in the right car seat. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your kids in the right seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Get more info at safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're here in the Country Financial Studio. Scott Phillips alongside. I'm Terry Jonz for Joey Mack. As we just heard from, he was on the University of Oregon Alumni Association guest line, and he was a great guest. He knows baseball. It's fun. I was a baseball player. Scott, you played baseball. It's a fun sport. All right, we need to get going. Long conversation with Kelly Graves, and we'll have it in parts here, 3 parts here coming up. But I got a hold of him the other day, and he goes, sure. So got him on, and I just said go, and he went for a while. So here we go. We had fun. He's always fun to talk to, always in a good mood, always has a great day. Here's my conversation with KG. All right, Coach, I know, first of all, this is usually May is a month you kind of have some fun. And I guess you're having fun in a way. You're a coach and you love what you do. But normally this is when you get a little bit of a break. But you've been busy.
Been pretty busy. Yeah, typically May is one of those months as a coach that you can kind of lay low a little bit. In fact, we rented an Airbnb. The family did in Phoenix or Scottsdale for the entire month of May. And I was able to go down there for 5 days was all. The rest of the family had a heck of a time. But yeah, I mean, just under the circumstances, they had a coach get a head job and took with them one of our assistants who happened to be married to our Dobo. So there goes half your staff right there. And then, with some of the departures, we've had to do some recruiting. But it's all good. I mean, I really like what's happened. I think in the end, it's going to be a net positive for us.
Yeah. So the golf game's not sharp right now. Is that what
No, the golf game is non-existent. I did, however, enjoy Phil Mickelson's run. I watched a lot of that. That was pretty good. And he did it for us 50-somethings. We still got the game.
Yeah. Well, we think we do. We just got to hit it as far as he does.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still don't know how some of those guys hit it so far. They swing so easy and it goes, although he doesn't, but I'll go 350. Well, how do you do that?
Well, I can hit it far. It's just the straightness that I struggle with.
It's those doggone trees.
Yeah, right.
And sand or whatever else there is. Well, let's look back at the season. I haven't gotten a chance to do that with you as far as for the show, for Duck Insider. Up and down, and I guess that's what you expect with a young team, and that's what you got.
Yeah, I think I probably said it ad nauseum early in the season. It was going to be like a roller coaster ride with all the youth, just up and down, and it proved to be so. When we were good, we were really good, especially early in the year when we were still healthy. And then, the way the season went, we just had injuries and we had continuity issues, and it just, by the end of the year in Pac-12 play, we were really just struggling to make not consistent effort. I think our effort was fine, but just any kind of consistency, especially offensively. and then picked it up in the tournament, win a couple of games. And it's funny. I don't know how many people that I talked to after the year go, wow, it was a tough year and things like that. It's like, we're into the Sweet 16. I mean, that's kind of where we've gotten, Terry, where a Sweet 16 is considered kind of a down year. But I'm really proud of our team. We just battled through some adversity, like I said, injuries, the youth, and I thought we did a really good job, all things considered. And I'm really proud of them, actually.
Yeah, not necessarily to compare, but it is kind of a benchmark to see what Sabrina Ruthie, their freshman year, make it to the Elite Eight. And nobody expected them to do that, but they came in and did it. And this group did the same thing. How important is, and that really set that group up for, a great 4-year run. How important was it to get to the Sweet 16 for this group?
Oh, I thought it was critical with these young kids to have them see some success in the NCAA tournament so that when we do get there again, with what I think is coming back to, we have a really, really good team. I think it will help them. They'll be a little bit more comfortable. They'll have, known, and they have the belief that, hey, we can win some games. And I think, that's going to be really, really critical for us.
And I know we talked about during the year trying to get a lineup, maybe trim the rotation a little bit, but nobody really rose up. You tried the bigs. I think it was in January. It didn't work so well. And then you come back with it in the tournament and it works great. So it was one of the most frustrating years I've had as a coach, just because of the uncertainty. We just tried so many different combinations and styles, and you nailed it when you said nobody really stepped up and won those spots. And so I tried to play too many people. Really, you need a rotation of 8 or 9, and I was trying to play 12 and did almost play 12 in every single game. That's just too much. It's too many people, and so we just struggled with that continuity. And like you said, there was times when we had certain, like Taylor Mikes, I'll use her as an example. When it was Tahina and Aaron Boley and Mike Sell at the 1, 2, and 3 spots. Well, we're asking Tahina to guard the other team's best player. Yeah. And we're asking so much of her offensively. We thought, well, let's just make a lineup change. So we insert Taylor Chavez. So she was one of our better defenders, certainly on the perimeter. So we insert her for defensive purposes. And now you got Mike Sell coming off the bench, something that she's unfamiliar with. And so it just kind of, we just were throwing things out. And it was unlike any other year, Terry, in that we didn't get any preseason work. We had few preseason games to figure out some kind of a rotation and style. And, when you follow the analytics, and the analytics say that we're better when Aaron Boley's at a 4, you've got to stretch 4. But I'm feeling like, well, in the end, we're going to have to win with our big kids, right? So should we go with the double bigs, move Aaron outside? It was just all those kind of things. So, I didn't do as good a job as I could have, certainly. And then as a team, we just never really hit that stride. We showed it from time to time. But in the end, I would still say it was a successful season. Absolutely. Transfer portal. You've had to deal with that both ways now. Yeah. Some leaving and some coming in. But first of all, I guess, what are your thoughts on how the transfer portal and how it's set up is, and maybe in time it'll settle down a little bit because not everybody's going to get greener pastures, even though they maybe think they are. But what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I've always been for it. I'm for the freedom of movement. I think it's, basketball and football are the two sports that, where there was a penalty for transferring. It's not that way in all the other sports, and the other sports aren't experiencing some rash of transfers. I think they have kind of self-corrected, and I think we will too. It's the first time for basketball, so I think a lot of people are trying to take advantage of it. But I'm okay with it. I'm disappointed that we lost 4 players because, you become family and you become part of the family, and you feel like when someone leaves, even though I shouldn't take it personally, you feel like you're losing a member of your family. Yep. But I wouldn't say easy come, easy go, but we lost some, but now we've gained some, and we're still looking for 1 or 2 others. We're fortunate that we're kind of on the top of the food chain, so to speak. But I think to your point, Terry, some of those players that are maybe leaving mid-major programs and they might have not played much, or let's say average 2 points and 1 rebound, and they enter the portal thinking there's greener pasture somewhere else, they may end up realizing, wow, there's not really a market for me. And they end up going to a Division II or Division III school and paying their own way, after having given up a scholarship. So I think some of that will work itself out eventually. But, we lost some good players, but the reality is I think we gained some really good players that are going to help in the short term and then in the long term.
There you go, Oregon women's basketball head coach Kelly Graves. And coming up next, part 2. And he'll talk about the transfers coming in. The new coaches, couple new assistants. That's coming up next here on Duck Insider. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Adopt U.S. Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Hundo P. Hundo P. Adjective. Short for being 100% sure or certain. As in, if we get a puppy, I'll Hundo P always walk it.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. It's Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're here in the Country Financial Studio. Terry Jonz for Joey Mack. Baseball tonight, 5:45 pregame down at Cal. Kelly Graves, part 2. Here we go.
Talk about the 3 you've signed so far.
Yeah, well, Elise Hurst from New Mexico she's really an elite guard. I like her a ton. She's a proven commodity. Averaged 13.5 her sophomore year at New Mexico. She averaged 12.5 this past year. Good assist to turnover numbers. Elite shooter. She had hit more than 93s as a sophomore. This year was kind of hard to, for everybody because just nobody played enough games. But shoots at a high level. She's from Bendigo, Australia. So we have another Aussie with us, and I just like the fact I think she's going to come in and play with a chip on her shoulder, and I like that. I think
she's a Lobo.
And then she's a Lobo. That's right. So we'll have 2 Lobos in the program. Taylor Hosendove from Georgia State. She also played at Clemson for a year. I like her. She's blue collar, can go inside and outside, shoots the 3, but is an elite rebounder. An all-conference player in the Sun Belt, and that's a pretty good conference. Troy was in that, and they, as a 13 seed, beat Arkansas as a 4 in the first round. So, she's played good competition, having also been in the ACC. And then we just announced one yesterday, Chania Pinto from Northwest Florida. It's a junior college, same junior college that produced Chris Duarte. and they won a national championship. She's a very productive player. And what I love about her, she plays with a ton of enthusiasm and passion and heart, and really can kind of play inside and outside, a really good rebounder. And what I like most about her is she produces in big games. If you look at all their big games that they played, she had, big nights. And she's from Mozambique, and she's actually home right now. So, I think we've got an international flair next year. We talked about the Aussie. We have 3 different players who are from Africa. One from Ghana, which is Filipina, coming in as a freshman. We have Niara, her dad is from Gambia, and now we have a young woman from Mozambique. So you throw an Aussie in there and a half German, and it's going to be pretty fun group.
Global game, isn't it?
It is a global game. There's no question. And think of the international players we've been blessed to have here over the last few years, from Satu Sabali to Maite Cazorla and on. So we've done well by the international players.
Yeah, by the way, you mentioned Maite, and I think Satu too. Is there? Maite, I know, is still over trying out for the Spanish Olympic team. Has a good chance, obviously.
I think she'll
is
make that
Satu
team
involved as well? Satu's doing some things as well, I think.
Yeah, well, Niara's been home for a couple of weeks now. Her and Satu are playing together on the 3-on-3. They're trying to qualify for the Olympics. That's a new Olympic sport. And so they get to play together. Satu, she won't be back the WNBA for still several weeks. Maite, she could still be playing in WNBA. She opted out of the bubble last year. And then this year, I think she's really focusing on making that Spanish team. And how about her team making it to the EuroLeague finals, which is pretty neat. That's a big deal. And they ended up, unfortunately, running into Courtney Vandersloot and Brianna Stewart and Brittany Griner.
Yeah.
in the championship.
On that one. Yeah.
That's a loaded team. They've won, I don't know how many Euro leagues in a row, but.
Yeah. Well, we talked about some new players. Let's talk about some new coaches. You got 2 new assistants, although familiar names.
Well, yeah, we'll start with Jackie. Jackie Nard was with us 3 years ago in our director of creativity position for a year, and then she left to be an assistant at Washington State for a year, and then 2 years as an assistant at Arizona. But we're glad to have her back. Great recruiter, just a great person. I think she's going to do awesome with the guards and in their development. Let's face it, she had a chance to work when she was at UW with Kelsey Plum, and then she had Ari McDonald for a couple of years too. So she's got some experience there. She's from Portland, so she's kind of come back home. And then, of course, Mike Moser, who played here 1 year as a grad transfer for Dana, had a really good year. And I'll tell you, he's been phenomenal. He's here right now. I watch him every day working our players out. He's got a real knack for player development. But I love the new ideas they're bringing. That staff we had, it was a great staff. But, we've been together 7 years. And sometimes after that long, it's, you need some new, fresh ideas. So I really like what those 2 give us. And then, our director of basketball operations, Brielle, Groen, and is that how you pronounce her last name? Groen?
I'm not sure. I was waiting for you to say it.
But she's great. I mean, I'm telling you, she just brings so much enthusiasm, as well as she's, talented and detailed, which you have to be in that position. So I'm telling you, big guy, this is a phenomenal staff, and what they've done in a short period of time, from the recruiting angle to the player development to just, I think, bridging this new staff with the players, I think has been phenomenal. So I'm really, really excited for this team.
You mentioned the assistants working out the kids here in spring workouts. I have fans ask me all the time, and you're pretty good about sending videos out, but what goes into all the individual workouts and then leading the kids into summer when they get to go home and so on?
Yeah, well, we're in our 8-hour week. So, we're still in school here until mid-June. We're on the quarter system. And so, yeah, we're allowed to work out with our players on the court 4 hours a day. And we chose, since we don't have that many players around right now, we chose to just do them in individual or 1 and 2 groups, of 1 or 2 players. And, you just work on game shots at game spots, introduce new moves, things like that. And basically just be there for them to help them improve. This is the time of the year that you really improve. Then most of our team, there's 3 summer sessions from mid-June to mid-July to mid-August to mid-September. And, we want all our players to be back by that mid-August date. So we get a good, month of practice before, our regular school starts. A lot of them will come back in mid-July, take some extra courses in the summer. But, there's a lot going on at this time, but we're allowed, only 4 hours on the court with our players, with each player. And then they're allowed 4 hours in the weight room. So they're still doing that as well.
So what they learn, hopefully in the spring workouts, they'll take it to just their personal workouts and improve on it.
Yeah, and that's I think the great thing about having Mike do these workouts. He comes to us after spending 2 years in player development with the Dallas Mavericks. So he's going from working with Luka Doncic to working with Matty Shear, and so he's bringing that NBA mentality and toughness and IQ and knowledge. And bringing it to our team. So it's been valuable, and I know they appreciate it. They've already told me that they love the individual workouts, especially Tahina. I think she has just blossomed and has enjoyed having Mike there, and Jackie too. Jackie's kind of been going back and forth, and she's really handling all our recruiting right now, or a lot of it. And so, but I know she's into player development as well. I think that part of our game, we're going to really teach our players, I think, how to be better players.
Yeah, how about that? Going from the Dallas Mavericks, working with Luka Doncic, and now here, I think I would listen to him, and I think they are. I think they're doing pretty well. He's pretty happy. He's pretty pleased with what's happening. All right, part 3, we have more with Kelly Graves. That's coming up next here on Duck Insider. After this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hi, it's Jan from Toyota. Summer's finally here, and with a great deal on a new Camry, RAV4, Highlander, Tacoma, and more, you can celebrate all of your favorite summer holidays, like Cinco de Mayo, Independence Day, International Pizza Party Day. Pepperoni, please. And by pepperoni, I mean Hawaiian.
Kick off summer at your Toyota dealer, where you can save big on all your favorites. This event ends June 1st. See your participating Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Learfield IMG College.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service Ad Council and your state forester.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, Terry Jonz for Joey Mack Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're here in the Country Financial Studio. Team USA. And I got a chance a couple days ago talk with KG, and we pick up here part 3, where a lot of the players, in fact, I think all the returning roster is playing somewhere this summer. Here's KG.
You mentioned Tahina, Team USA, U19, and of course Sedona going to play as well.
Yeah, Sedona leaves tomorrow for South Carolina. She'll be playing with the AmeriCup team. She'll be gone for, I think that's down in Puerto Rico. Is that where they're playing?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. So between training and then the tournament itself, it might be a week and a half, 2 weeks. Then she'll be back. And then Tahina doesn't leave, I think, until August for the U19s. And that's a world championship. And that will be in Hungary. So she'll be playing over there with some pretty elite players. So really good on them. And, one thing I want to add too, next month, so in about 2 weeks, Tahina, Maddie Shear, Sydney Parrish, and Kylie Watson are all leaving for Boston to compete in the national 3-on-3 championships. We're the only school that has been that will be sending a team because we're the 2-time defending champs, having won 2 national championships in 3-on-3. I don't think a lot of people know that. Everybody else that's going there are going as individuals, in a group of individuals. So I'm really happy and proud of them and excited to see how they do back there. We'll be a young team, but, they've played together, and I think we're going to do quite well.
So that's part of USA basketball.
It is. So every single player we have on the roster right now is playing in some kind of a national event. And that's pretty neat. That's when you've got an elite group.
Yeah.
When everybody's playing for their national team or for our national team.
And what does that do for their growth to play in situations like that, and internationally and even just nationally on the 3-on-3?
Well, I think it'll do a ton. I mean, just the bonding that they're going to have, being on their own. There's no coach. I'm not going. Jody's not going. None of us are going. It's just them. So they've got to figure all this stuff out on their own. And just the time spent off the court, I think, is as valuable as the time on the court. Terry, and I think that's one of the things that really hurt us this year. We weren't able to bond at any point because of Oregon's restrictions. We didn't even have a post-practice meal all year long. That's where you really develop the bonds, the time you spend together off the court. And so when you have 9 new players, 7 of whom are technically freshmen, and you can't do anything off the court, you don't build those ties and have that same chemistry and camaraderie that you would on normal years. And so at the end of the year, when kids say, well, did I really have the experience I wanted this year? No. And that's why they part of the reason some of them entered the portal. They just didn't feel as connected as we normally would be. And, and I should have navigated that a little bit better myself, and figured out ways to build that chemistry. But here in Oregon, we had among the most restrictive rules in the country.
Yeah. You speak of the pandemic. Recruiting. How hard has that been for recruiting? You can't have, although coming up June 1st, you can have visits, but in the last year or more, you couldn't. You couldn't travel to them or them travel to you. So how difficult has that been? You have to do it, watching film on the phone or Zoom calls or whatever, right?
Yeah. And unfortunately, you can't really tell sometimes on film how good a player is. So you're making best guesses, and we're relying on, I'm relying on coaches and scouts and people out there that I trust and have known for, over the years. It's difficult. So yeah, starting June 1st, we have some official visits. I think we go about almost 2 straight weeks of official visits and some unofficial visits. We're trying to cram them all in before our kids leave and, for the summer. But yeah, it's been tough. Thankfully, we've been ahead of the recruiting game. So we saw a lot of the young kids that were coming up, because we had commitments in the older classes. And so we're ahead of most institutions because we were able to see young kids. But now I haven't seen them in almost 2 years. So I'm really looking forward to getting back out on the road in July and watching and evaluating players.
So I remember you telling me previously that when you recruit, you like to go watch them practice. You mentioned that not just on the field, but you like to go watch them practice, see if they're winning the drills and doing all those things. I thought that was interesting.
Oh, it's critical. Hey, I've crossed kids off who dog it during wind sprints, at the end of practice. Or you can tell how they treat their coaches a lot in practice. Obviously, I love watching them play games, and we see them enough doing that. But I think it really shows your character, your leadership, toughness, all those kind of things when you watch them practice. When they're the best player, do they still work hard? Do they listen to their coach? Do they treat their teammates right? You know, and you'd be surprised at some of the reasons I've crossed kids off my list over the years.
Well, let's talk some former Ducks now in the WNBA. You know, Sab, Ruthie, of course, Satu's not back yet. Jillian Aileen was on the Mystics for a while. I think not at this point, but some international players came back. But which I think leads you to why the WNBA needs to expand. There are players like Jill that are just right there on the edge of it.
Yeah.
That, you know, she would make it. But you got to be proud of all those kids. And Sab with a triple-double already.
Yeah, no question about it. It's pretty neat. You know, Jody, my assistant Jody Berry, she went back with her whole family to Chicago and spent a couple of days there and went to the game with Ruthie and Sabrina. And it was pretty neat. They both had double doubles, both played well. Yeah, Sabrina's just killing it right now. She's, you know, it's funny. And I'm watching a lot of NBA and you can't turn on, you know, you can't watch an NBA game without see her in every commercial, State Farm, Body Armor. She's doing everything. Right now, she's the face of the WNBA, with all due respect to Breanna Stewart and Sue Bird and all those great players that have earned it. You know, Sabrina is, I mean, look at last night. She's down courtside at the Nets game, getting airtime, getting hugged by Kyrie, being called the GOAT and things like that. So she's backed it up on the court as well. One triple-double. I got a feeling she's going to get a few more before this is all said and done. And then Ruthie, how great's Ruthie been playing? Back-to-back double-doubles. I didn't see what she did last night.
Not as much, but she had less minutes, so maybe an off game.
Yeah, well, Candace Parker maybe came back too, and that'll cut some of her minutes out. But I think she's been playing great. I keep in close contact with Courtney Vandersloot, and Courtney just absolutely loves her and you know, loves that, you know, they connect a lot on pick and roll. It looked like Sabrina all over again with those two, but no, they're doing great. And Jill, you know, listen, she should be on a roster, and, you know, she may have not be on a current roster right now, but she's going to get picked up by somebody because she's just too darn good. I agree with you. The WNBA, it's the hardest league in the world to make. There's only 12 teams. I mean, think about that. There's 30-something NBA teams. So 144 players make it. I think it's time for at least 4 new teams. And Portland should be on top of the list. With the 2 fan bases that we have in this state, you know, between us and Oregon State, we could really support, I think, a women's basketball team. So I look forward to that. And you're right. There's just too many good players out there.
Next season schedule. In the fall, what can you tell us?
Well, it's going to be loaded. It's going to be loaded. We're in the Bahamas, and that tournament, nothing but heavyweights, you know, and it looks like right now we'll probably end up on the same side as South Carolina, and with a chance to play UConn in that tournament as well. We do host UConn. That'll be later that'll be during Pac-12 play on a big Monday. ESPN will set that time, so I'm not sure, but we go to Northwestern, we go to Kansas State to play. I remember mentioning South Carolina, and then, you know, our home slate is some pretty good teams. You know, by the way, we're at Portland this year, so for all the Portland fans, December 4th we'll be up there playing at the Chiles Center. And then, you know, UC Davis, we've got 5 or 6 home games as well, so it's going to be a challenging schedule. But I think we'll be up to it. Hey, but you know what, Terry, going back to that point of a WNBA expansion, think of a team in Portland and think if Sabrina or Satu or Ruthie played for Portland or on another team who comes to Portland, tell me that place wouldn't be packed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If somehow Sabrina could, you know, in the expansion draft, I don't think they would ever expose her, but let's say, you know, Portland was allowed to get Sabrina. I mean, come on, that would be a no-brainer and a winner for the WNBA.
Today, season ticket renewals are due today, Duck fans. So we need to pack Matthew Knight Arena again. We hope we get to, and keep doing your due diligence, and everybody get vaccinated if you haven't yet. But going to look forward to being in a full MKA again, aren't we?
No doubt. We missed the fans this year, Terry. You tell me we lose to Stanford by 2 if that place is packed, and UCLA by 2. No, we win those games, and we need everybody to do their job, get vaccinated, and and I get some of you have this and that belief, but you know what? If you want to watch a basketball game, then you got to do what you're supposed to do here, and hopefully everybody does that, and we get everybody back. I think that'll be something special.
Well, KG, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule, and maybe we'll get out and hit some golf balls this summer.
Yeah, Terry, I would love to do that. Not with you, though, Big A. You're too good.
No, I'm not.
You're too good, man.
No.
You hit it long and you hit it straight. That's a tough combination.
Well, maybe straight. The long part's long gone. That left me a while ago. All right, buddy. Hey, thanks so much for the visit. God bless, and keep working hard.
Thank you, Terry. You too, buddy.
There you go, KG. Great guy to talk to. And you feel better now, fans? Because some of you are getting a little negative Ned and Nancy's out there going, what's going on? There you go. Everything you needed to know. I mean, if you don't feel good about the program after that, and we can't wait, take care of business. We need a full Autzen Stadium in the fall. We need a full Matthew Knight Arena in the fall and winter. And let's get it done. We all know what we need to do. All right. There you go. Good to talk with KG. And coming up next, we'll wrap it up here. Wrap up the week. Duck Insider back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
On March 5th, 2021, we lost a larger-than-life member of the Oregon Ducks family. Chris Bjork passed away surrounded by his wife Allison and their 3 sons, Anders, Henry, and Jordy. After spending more than 26 years working with the University of Oregon, we are proud to establish the Chris Bjork Scholarship Fund in his honor. Go to goducks.com/Bjork Scholarship. That's goducks.com/Bjork Scholarship to make a contribution and help us remember a great Duck.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
Football
I want to be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing.
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're here in the Country Financial Studio, along with Scott Phillips. I'm Terry Jonz. Joey Mack, as you heard from earlier in the show, down in Berkeley, at a 5:45 pregame show, 6:05 first pitch, game number 2 of the 3-game set with the Cal Bears. Let's talk a little women's golf, and their season is over. In fact, earlier today I saw Derek Radley, head coach, out in the hallway, and congratulate him. Great season. The young team going to be great. And one of those youngsters, she's a sophomore, Brianna Chacon. A phenomenal spring season as Chacon rewarded today as a second-team All-American. How about that? Yeah, absolutely. Second-team All-American by the Women's Golf Coaches Association. Chacon makes history as just the 4th Duck women's golfer ever to earn WGCA All-America honors. Only the 3rd to land on the 1st or 2nd team. Paula Patterson was Oregon's lone first-team selection back in 1997. Cassie Isagawa received second-team honors in 2012, an honorable mention in 2013, and current sophomore Sophie, if I say your name wrong, Sophie Kibsgaard-Nielsen earned honorable mention recognition last season as a freshman. I'm surprised no Caroline Inglis on there at somewhere, won a Pac-12 title. Chacon, one of 12 athletes on the WGCA All-American second team. 11 players received first-team recognition. 17 were named honorable mention. Of the 40 total honorees, 21 are underclassmen. She's from Whittier, California, a native of there, and I remember watching her when she was being recruited and had signed with Oregon and all the things she was doing when she was just a high schooler. But Oregon's top performer through the stellar spring that saw the Ducks post 6 top 5 finishes, the program's first tournament win since 2016, and an 11th place showing at the NCAA Championships, one of the 2 all Pac-12 selections for Oregon, along with freshman Cynthia Liu. Chacon recorded 5 consecutive top 10 finishes going into the NCAA Championships. That run was headlined by a runner-up performance to help the Ducks win the Ping ASU, Arizona State Invitational, and capped by a 5th place finish at the Pac-12 Championships. Chacon opened the NCAA Championships with a 1 under par 71 and an even par 72, extending her streak of par or better rounds to 6 straight and 11 in a 14-round span. Now, she closed the spring. Here's her average, scoring average. Usually pars around 71 or 72, 72.73. Her scoring average in 22 rounds. That's number 3 in Oregon single-season history. Number 3. And the par 4s. Here's what she does on the par 4s. Usually you have, 4 par 5s, 4 par 3s. So there's 10 left, 10 par 4s. So you need to do well on the par 4s as well. 4.07.
That's like you, Terry.
That's her. No, not like me. 4.07. Her par 4 scoring average ranks tied for 2nd in program history. And congratulations, Brianna Chacon, 2nd team All-American. And they're young. Talking to Coach Radley, they're young. They're going to be doing pretty well. By the way, the track and field, of course, we have the NCAAs coming up in, less than 2 weeks now at the new Hayward Field, June 9th through the 12th. And 4 women making it to Eugene yesterday. 9 advanced out of the first round. The men are back at it today, 3:30. You can see it. You can go to the GoDucks.com, and Zach Lawson is giving you all the directions on how to get in there, and you can stream it. The men, 13 runners advanced out of the first round, and the women will have their second day coming up tomorrow. And the NCAA's there. Okay, Joey Mack, 5:45 pregame show. I'm Terry Jonz. Scott Phillips, bye.
Jill, why don't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows
Thank you,
and
sir.
found
Good
a
talking to you,
zillion
Mitchell.
of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my
Hey, have a
sister and
good
I
weekend,
escaped
buddy.
from an evil slug king and went back to my
Thanks,
super
bye.
twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.